Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your friend James Shaw. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. 7:59 on this Friday morning, and I'm just honored that you would make Pivot Shift Ahead part of your day. Oh, I also am going to hit the mute all button. There we go. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much. Real quick, I want to update everybody. We have been doing the this month actually. It's our goal this month to raise $40,000 for KW Cares out of this community for the month. We had the whole month to raise $40,000. We're at $40,129 raised in 8 and 9 days. So cheers to this community. We had somebody come in last night, make a very fancy donation to help put us over the top because they're kind and they're just a good person. So we'll keep going this month. Who knows what we'll be able to raise for KW Cares. I'll drop the link in the chat a little bit later. But thank you to those who donated. By the way, we also had enough of you donate the $100 to be able to pick the music that now we're scheduling into February of next year. So it's pretty cool. I love how giving and support of this community is, and I love seeing the $20 donations and the $5 donations. It all goes to a great cause. And if anyone on this call has been supported by KW Cares in some way, put it in the chat, because my guess is there's several of you who have been somehow supported by KW Cares. So anyway, thank you to everybody who's donated. Let's do a couple of Tell Me Something Goods. Stacy, did you have one you wanted to share, Stacy Grove?
I sure did. We had the most fun yesterday. We did something we've been wanting to do for a couple years. Saw it from somebody else, rip off and duplicate. And it's Mom, You're the Bomb. And we took bath bombs and delivered them with a sign in the yard that said, Mom, You're the Bomb from the Russell Company, and delivered to 100 clients. We had to put names in a hat because obviously we have hundreds of amazing moms that we could have done this to. The whole team participated in delivering the signs of bath bombs, and the response has been absolutely beyond what we could have imagined. Just spreading joy and love and gratitude. And I'm just like, my heart is overflowing this morning, as is the rest of our team.
The text you sent me says, I was just talking with someone yesterday about how much better the Russell Company is than anyone else in town. Working with another realty group, I haven't heard from anyone in their office other than my realtor. No closing details email, no, hey, just checking to make sure you're okay email. And that's not to say they're bad, it's just you guys are really good. So broke my heart wide open in gratitude. That's so cool. So, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Cheers to the moms. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. We're hanging out with my mom on Sunday, and my wife, who's an amazing mom. Cheers to the moms. Thanks, Stace. Kelly, good morning.
Like me, Kelly?
Yeah, that's what it says.
I'm sorry. Okay, so last week I was gifted to be able to do an open house for somebody else's listing. So it's a house on a canal. It has a boat lift. So I started off with just 100 flyers. I went to the boat launches and I started putting them on everybody's car. And every time I saw somebody, it was an opportunity just to tell them what's on the flyer. And just, read some high points. Ran out of flyers within 20 minutes, had to go back and make more. Now I made 200. At the end of the week, I had distributed about 700 flyers. I made probably about 12 different Instagram, Facebook videos, pushed them out, spammed every Facebook group I could think of, and had multiple conversations with people. I acquired a listing. I acquired one buyer who showed up with his parents to a showing. They are putting a second house under contract at the exact same time. Then I also was telling somebody else about the listing, and they went and looked at a house, and they're putting that house under contract, and I'm listing their house all in 1 week.
Look what happens when you do the work. That's the bottom line. Look what happens when you do the work and get out there. Well done. One more, Vinny. You get the last one. Good morning, Vinny. Vinny, we can't hear you, friend. And we still can't hear you. So Barb Whitney, you get the last
How about
one.
now?
Oh, there we go, Vinny. There you are. What's up, friend?
Okay, so this is my first share. I've been on every day since December. I have to give a huge shout out to one of your OGs, Linda Brennan. So Linda Brennan is who strongly encouraged me to join this call, and it really has been a game changer. I'm a commercial agent in South Florida. Shameless plug if anybody needs help with commercial in South Florida, I'd be glad to help. But Linda and I started listing a shopping center in Hollywood, Florida in December of 2023. And we have had a roller coaster ride with this, with the seller who would high price, everything you can think of. Yesterday, we finally closed the shopping center where Linda and I had both sides of this transaction, and it was wonderful. And I just can't thank her enough. And it just showed everything that this community is all about.
I love that. That's very cool. Congratulations and thanks for being on the call and thanks for sharing. Let's get after it this morning. Irene, you posted in Facebook this morning. I had another plan, but then I saw your post. I'm like, ooh, we should do that. Irene in Toronto, you want to do, what is it? You want to do a first-time home seller seminar. Do I have that right? Yes, James, you do. Oh, perfect. I'm so happy to hear it. So this is a great idea. Who's done seller seminars? Like a seller where you get to get, like we've heard of buyer seminars. In fact, I'm going to put a link in the chat on a series we've done on buyer seminars. But if you're going to do a seller seminar, what would that look like? We're going to NKOTB it right now. We're going to make a list of what would happen in a seller seminar. D'Angela Hudson, good morning.
Hi, good morning. So I did a sellers seminar and it was at a wine shop here. And at the end, we offered wine tasting. So we called it Sip and Sell. And I had a closing attorney, an estate planning attorney, a stager, appraiser, and a home inspector. And we made it panel style. I got questions from everyone who attended beforehand. And then we also answered some of their questions on site. And it was very well attended, and everyone that came ended up listing their house eventually.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, how did they find out about it?
I called during my like power hour calls. I advertised it and told them about it, and I also made an Eventbrite for it and put it on there.
How many people showed up?
10.
And you listed all of them?
Yes.
Done. Bye.
Yeah.
How do we get 10 people to show up to our seller seminar?
I had to invite about 30 to 40 who said they would come, and out of those, about 10 of them came. And I'm so big on quality over quantity. So even if it had only been 3 people in that room, I still would have considered a huge win.
Oh, 100%. One person in the room is a listing appointment. I mean, that's totally great. I'm happy with that. How did you determine the 40 who you invited?
People who had raised their hand in the past, and that like some of them were people who I had gone on listing appointments with in the past, and for one reason or the other they decided not to list at that time. And the lender really hammered in some programs to help people, like the bridge loan, so they could buy before they sold. And we just really analyzed their objections before they came, and then like made sure we over answered them while they were there.
What did you cover in the seminar? Did you have a slide deck? Did you have certain key points? Did they have a handout?
I gave a copy of my like what I would take to my listing presentation. It's called From Listed to Sold. And so they had a copy of that. And I also gave them a copy of their comps. Like I print out their RPR report and
So
put it
you
in
knew
a
in
nice folder
advance
for
which
them.
people were coming, obviously. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to get clarity. So you obviously knew in advance, so you came specific on their house, like an equity analysis report that we've been teaching for years, and that's what you brought in.
Yes, yes. So they knew exactly what they could do with their equity, and we were able to speak to, okay, like let's say your equity report shows you have $50,000 and you want to move up into a home that's 150,000 more. The lender was actually able to go through, like, this is what you would need to bring out of pocket. This is what your monthly payment would be. We talked about how if they were concerned about having a lower interest rate and going into a higher monthly payment, how we could pay off some of their debt and lower their overall operating expense of the property, their home, so they could afford a higher mortgage without even spending the whole equity that they had.
Okay, that's really good. Anything else, D'Angelo, you want to tell them?
Well, Total Wine here in Atlanta offered the event space for free, so we didn't have to even pay for anything. Actually, we got like some balloons from Party City at the time, but we didn't have to pay for an event space. And I don't think the wine was the hook, but it was a nice touch. Like they had a sommelier come and do like a nice wine presentation on some whites and some reds and champagnes versus sparkling wines at the end. So it was a nice advertisement, but I don't think that was the reason people were there.
Yeah, you don't need any of that. You could do it. You could do this at your market center if you wanted to.
Yep.
I love it. Dee, thank you so much. Vicky's going to be following up with you. Chatter, good
Okay.
morning.
Hey, James, good morning. Just had that sticky button mute situation. Thank you. So, D'Angelo, I love what I've just heard. I mean, I could go on for days talking about this, and recently I brought it up. So last year, we started a seller seminar. We had the real estate attorney, a mortgage lender on the team with it. We hosted it live and on Zoom. It was in my market center. We averaged 5 to 10, sellers that came in. Yes, of course, you had a buyer or two that came in as well, right? We listed 2 during that year just from the seminars. And this year, we're doing something even more exciting where we're gearing it to the boomer market, although we're still accepting any random property owner or seller to come in. And we put together the trust and estates attorney to be a part of this, a 1031 exchange company to be a part of it, a financial advisor, a mortgage lender, and a real estate attorney as of now. We're looking to possibly add on a CPA. However, we're doing it live, in person, and on Zoom. And we're utilizing the mortgage lender. They have a lounge, which is pretty cool, in their office building, really cozy, like theater-like seats. We provide, we're testing it on lunch hours and evening hours for dinner.
Yeah.
And we're
But the
providing.
boomers can show up whenever.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we're
But have it
providing.
at Red Lobster and more of them will come.
Not a bad idea, James.
I mean,
didn't
they
think
want
of
those
that
little
one.
biscuit things. The thing about the boomers is great. We did a piece in Pivot a while back about that group, right? It's the largest group of home buyers and sellers right now. They have massive amount of equity, is generality, right? So in general, they have a lot of equity. They don't really care necessarily about an interest rate on the house they're purchasing. I mean, there's all sorts of things around it. How specifically are you targeting boomers to get them to this event?
And James, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I just had to go on camera. I just
Yeah,
walked
you're
back.
good.
So,
You're good.
what we're doing very similar to D'Angelo, and I hope I'm saying that name right. Every day during my lead generating hours, either in the mornings or in the evening, I mention that either to a for sale by owner, an expired listing, or my DTD2 calls. I make sure I put it back in there on that conversation, either end it with it or start it off. Yet, when I add to my command database, I'm putting tags into those that raise their hand of some type of interest to attend or learn more. So I might put email invitation to those that wanted to email, or mail invitation tag for those that wanted the mail, and it specifies Boomer Seminar, right? And I color code it such. And I have those that say, hey, text messages. So I put the tags accordingly. And when we're planning it out, like we have one coming out June 12th, that's going to be in the evening. We'll serve, again, refreshments and dinner. And those invitations will go out on every, way that I just mentioned, as well as mail outs. Now, what I've learned from last year, we spent a lot of money on mail outs, yet very little return or attendance. So then we pivoted for a moment, right? And we said, okay, we'll mail out only like the hot properties of those that we never got in touch with.
Okay.
That we see like the sell score, right? On our MLS may have a sell score now. And if we see a really high sell score, it'll be similar to a golden letter, right? And we'll mail those out either with a QR code and some information on it. And yeah, so the calls do a lot. Oh, as a matter of fact, and I do my command email campaigns, which I love.
This
right?
is great.
That you're invited.
I love it. And I think you brought something up too, be good, expired and for sale by owner, good candidates for a seller seminar. Chatter, thank you. I want to get some others in before
Thank
we run
you.
out of time. Donna Gilbert, good morning to you.
Good morning. So yeah, I almost exclusively, I can't remember the last time I did a buyer seminar. They've all turned to seller seminars. And I do it in the back of, there's a back room of a restaurant that I go to and the guy lets me have it for free. In fact, we do it at dinner and he gives them, I think it's 5% off of their dinner meal if they have dinner before, and then they come into the seminar in the back. And I target it to, areas where I want to have listings, areas where I'm sending RPRs, and it says, would you be interested in here, now you know the value, would you be interested in knowing the process? And then if they say yes, or you follow up, and those are the people that that come. And I took a page from Sue Adler's Sellers Seminar. I love the fact, and like everybody said, it's a panel and you're getting many different opinions. So we're speaking more in generalizations about the process. But what Sue Adler does, I love this. So we're talking that, and if somebody raises their hand, as they always do, and they have a specific question about their problem, you have somebody in the room that runs over and says, "Okay, let's set up an appointment." She kind of goes, "Go, can you? We'll set up an appointment. We'll cover that specifically," and you get the appointment right in the room. It's like magic. They're happy to give you the information to set a date. So I just wanted to add that part.
I love it. Kathy, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. So I've done them a couple of different ways. I've gone big and I've gone small with my seller seminar. And in both cases, so the bigger ones, I partnered with alumni, university alumni groups. And that's really where I got my audience from. And I partnered with another agent. And what we did was we talked about kind of what the current market conditions are, talked about what the process is, things for them to think about. We also interjected polls during the time to engage the group, because what we were getting was, this went out to about 150 people. We typically would have 50 to 60 people on the webinar. When you're reaching out to people like that, your percentage of what you're going to get is going to be much smaller. So I did end up with a couple of listings out of that by doing that with follow-up. I also went small, and small meaning I actually did my town. And in my town, we took a very different approach, and it was much more intimate. And we partnered with actually our recreation center / senior center, and we were able to engage people that way. That was small. I think that at the time, and we did, both have been done via Zoom. We did it, maybe we had 6 to 8 people on the call. I did end up getting a listing from that with that small amount. We really were hyper local in terms of talking to them about what was happening in our town. People were very interested. Where are people coming from? How do you get buyers? But also we did it in a way that said, we're not here to just list your house. Let's talk about how you can leverage the equity in your house. What's right for you? You may not be ready. You might want to leverage to renovate. You may be ready to list. And I did get a listing out of that. And from that listing, I also got another client. So both, in my mind, were successful. And I felt very authentic in both cases of the way we conducted those seminars.
That's great. We're obviously going to go a lot deeper in this in the future than we have time to do on this call today, because we've got about 90 seconds left. And I know a lot of you want to know a lot more process stuff. So we will, in coming days, inside of Pivot, do some stuff with some of the people who have spoken. We'll get you process step by step. Like I said, we NKOTB. Those are like, what do you mean NKOTB? New Kids on the Block, step by step. We get step-by-step details on how this stuff works. We'll put together the playbooks. We'll do all that work for you so you have it. Just give us the time to do the research. But today we're just, we're scratching the surface a little bit of some of the opportunity. Amy, you're going to get the last one. Miranda, we'll check in with you later on this topic because I know we'll have another opportunity. But Amy, you get the last word.
Okay, thank you. So these ideas are so incredible, but I also want to share that sometimes done is better than perfect. And for my first one, I didn't know what I was doing. And I knew that a neighbor was selling their house after 50 years and was interviewing a bunch of agents. And I said, oh, I have a seller seminar. Spoiler, I did not, but I just made a Zoom and I advertised it, I think on Instagram. I got someone from out of state. I got my aunt. I actually asked her if she would be on the call just to have another body. And an agent in my office wanted to listen in. And I just did like a variation of my listing presentation.
That's what I was
and
thinking. Isn't it just a listing presentation?
It just get it done. And I got the listing.
See, it works. It works, folks. All right, so we're going to put some best practices together to help you. But I do think that the simplest way is you take your listing presentation and do it in a room or on a Zoom, and you have a seller workshop. You have a seller seminar. But we'll get some best practices down the line. Irene, thanks for asking the question. I hope this was helpful to you. Hey, thank you to all of you for being here this week. We are over 5 years in, and I think we're better than ever, and I'm thankful that you make this part of your day. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. You got your
Thanks,
inspiration.
everybody.
Go through the perspiration. Bye.
Have a great day, everybody.